The streets of Caracas erupted into absolute chaos as reports of a massive American military intervention spread.
Hundreds of elite Delta Force operators infiltrated the capital city under the cover of a blackout.
Simultaneously, a massive amphibious task force carrying 5,000 U.S. Marines approached the coastline from the north.
Local media broadcasts were interrupted by static and emergency alerts as the city plunged into total panic.
Before we break down this intense military scenario, click subscribe to track global conflict simulations every week. The Delta Force teams had one primary objective: secure key leadership targets and disrupt the command chain. Before a single shot was fired, a massive cyber attack paralyzed the Venezuelan military communication network completely.
High-ranking generals were left in the dark, unable to coordinate a defense against the lightning raid.
Above the city, AC-130 gunships orbited silently, ready to provide devastating fire support to the ground teams. Delta operators moved like ghosts through the winding streets, avoiding detection by local militias and police forces. Their target was the Miraflores Palace, the heart of the regime and the center of political power. The Venezuelan National Guard scrambled to set up roadblocks, but they were reacting far too slowly today.
U.S. snipers positioned on high ground neutralized key threats at the roadblocks, clearing the path for others.
While Delta worked inside the city, 5,000 Marines stormed the beaches of La Guaira port nearby.
Heavy M1 Abrams tanks rolled onto Venezuelan soil, bringing immense firepower to the fight for the capital.
The Marines began their push up the highway, a vital artery connecting the coast to the mountains.
The Venezuelan Air Force attempted to scramble Su-30 fighter jets to intercept the massive American landing force.
But U.S. air superiority fighters were waiting, neutralizing the enemy jets before they could even fire a shot.
Air dominance was established in minutes, clearing the skies for the helicopters and drones to operate freely.
Inside Caracas, civilians hid in their homes, filming the tracer fire lighting up the night sky above.
Delta Force reached the perimeter of the palace, cutting the power and preparing for a dynamic breach. Flashbangs detonated inside the hallways, disorienting the palace guards who were unprepared for Tier 1 operators.
Fierce close-quarters combat erupted as the elite American unit pushed deeper toward the high-value target's office. On the outskirts, Venezuelan S-300 missile batteries attempted to engage the U.S. aircraft supporting the Marine advance. Anti-radiation missiles fired from offshore destroyers obliterated the radar sites, blinding the Venezuelan air defense network.
The Marine column faced resistance at the tunnels, where local militias had erected hasty burning barricades. Using heavy weapons and grenade launchers, the Marines cleared the obstacles and continued their relentless uphill push.
Panic spread through the population, with cars driving the wrong way and people fleeing the city center.
Delta breached the main office only to find it empty, and the primary target had likely moved underground.
Intelligence indicated a vast network of tunnels and bunkers beneath the palace, complicating the extraction mission.
V-22 Ospreys landed on the palace lawn, delivering reinforcements to secure the perimeter against counterattacks.
Venezuelan T-72 tanks mobilized from Fort Tiuna, heading toward the city center to engage the Americans.
But attack helicopters were waiting, utilizing the urban terrain to ambush the approaching armored column effectively.
Hellfire missiles destroyed the lead tanks, creating a traffic jam that trapped the rest of the column. Marines began entering the dense barrios, facing the nightmare of urban combat in vertical, crowded terrain.
Armed gangs and militias loyal to the regime fired RPGs from rooftops, slowing the Marine advance.
The fighting became brutal and close range, with every building potentially hiding an ambush for the troops.
U.S. forces relied on microdrones to scout ahead, identifying enemy positions before walking into lethal traps.
Back at the palace, Delta operators located the hidden blast door leading to the underground command bunker.
Specialized breaching charges were set to blow the hinges, preparing for the final confrontation with leadership.
The explosion rocked the foundation of the building as the team stormed into the subterranean complex.
Marines established fire bases in city parks, using mortars to suppress enemy strongholds on the hills.
As the sun rose over Caracas, the scale of the operation became visible to the terrified world.
Global powers reacted with shock, condemning the escalation while monitoring the situation for potential spillover effects.
Russia and China issued strong warnings, but their ability to intervene in the Caribbean was non-existent. Many Venezuelan regular
Deep underground, Delta Force secured the high-value targets, capturing the regime's inner circle without lethal force.
extraction helicopters landed immediately, whisking the captured leaders away to an offshore aircraft carrier for processing.
U.S. Marines secured the American Embassy compound, raising the flag and establishing a temporary command post. However, the collapse of authority led to looting in some districts, creating a new security challenge.
The mission shifted rapidly from combat to stabilization, as Marines patrolled streets to prevent total anarchy.
Cargo planes began dropping humanitarian aid to the population, attempting to win hearts and minds quickly.
Civilians, exhausted by years of crisis, cautiously accepted food and water from the foreign occupying forces.
Pockets of fanatical resistance remained, requiring surgical strikes to clear buildings without causing civilian casualties. Tanks crushed the burning barricades, reopening the main arteries of the city for logistics convoys. By midday, U.S. forces controlled. The Venezuelan Navy remained in port, unwilling to face the overwhelming firepower of the U.S. fleet.
Political opposition leaders emerged from hiding, preparing to form a transitional government under military protection.
Several Venezuelan generals defected, ordering their troops to stand down and cooperate with the Americans. Hospitals were overwhelmed, treating wounded from both sides as the city struggled to cope. As darkness fell for the second night, an uneasy silence settled over the occupied capital city.
Surveillance drones patrolled the streets, looking for curfew breakers or gathering insurgent groups in the shadows.
Exhausted Marines slept near their vehicles, knowing the hardest part of the occupation was just beginning. The swift victory was a testament to overwhelming firepower, but the political fallout would be immense.
Reports came in of sabotage at distant oil fields, a parting gift from the retreating loyalists.
U.S. Army engineers prepared to deploy to the oil fields to secure the critical energy infrastructure.
Colombia and Brazil closed their borders, fearing a massive wave of refugees fleeing the conflict zone.
United Nations held an emergency session, with diplomats arguing fiercely over the legality of the operation.
Their mission accomplished, the Delta Force teams began to extract, leaving the Marines to hold ground. For the Marines, the job was far from over. They dug in for a long occupation.
Anti-American sentiment began to appear on the walls, a sign of the insurgency that might follow.
Intelligence teams began the hunt for insurgents, trying to prevent a guerrilla war from taking root.
Hidden weapons caches were discovered daily, proving that the resistance was planning for a long fight.
The economy, already ruined, had completely collapsed, leaving the U.S. to manage a financial humanitarian disaster.
Food distribution became the primary weapon against instability, as hungry populations are difficult to pacify effectively.
Soldiers attempted to build trust, playing sports with children, in an effort to humanize the occupation force.
But Overwatch was constant, as the threat of a sniper or suicide bomber was never far away.
As the initial shock wore off, the reality of the new geopolitical landscape began to set in.
Venezuela was now firmly under American influence, shifting the balance of power in the entire hemisphere.
Oil exports resumed under heavy guard, aiming to stabilize global energy markets after the sudden disruption. Infrastructure repair began immediately, with U.S. contractors arriving to rebuild the damaged airport and power grid.
Symbols of the old government were removed, a visual cleansing of the city to mark a new era.
At home, protests erupted against the intervention, highlighting the political divide over foreign military adventures abroad.
The operation was not without cost. Casualties were sustained, reminding the public of the price of war.
Weeks later, power was restored to the city, a symbol of the fragile normalcy returning to Caracas.
The soldiers wondered how long they would stay, and if they would be welcomed or fought against.
This intervention joins a long list of American military actions in Latin America, echoing history's complex legacy.
Strategically, the U.S. secured a key region, but the challenge of nation-building remains the true test.
The future of Venezuela now rests in the balance between foreign support and internal national reconciliation.
As we pull back, the city looks peaceful from above, masking the complex reality on the ground below.
This has been a detailed analysis of a hypothetical invasion scenario based on current military capabilities.
If you enjoyed this war game simulation, make sure to subscribe and comment your thoughts below.
Check out our other videos where we analyze potential conflicts in the Pacific and Eastern Europe.
Click the video on your screen now to continue exploring the complex world of modern military strategy.
Stay informed, stay critical, and thank you for watching this special report on the Venezuelan crisis scenario.
We will see you in the next briefing.